Alright. This is part 2 of my random thought. We're going to call this random thought with the shits. Or with the shit. Right? Now, most people, when they think of with the shit, they think of violence. They think of somebody going out harming another individual. That's not necessarily with the shit. And I'm not trying to be funny. But, you know, like I was telling you in the previous video, there was ranks. And those ranks came upon the amount of knowledge that a person had in regards to their set or their game, right? When they reach a certain reached a certain level of knowledge, they were able to identify who was supposed to be out here being violent and who were the thinkers or the mind. People get with the shits all twisted. People automatically assume with the shits means get rid of another human being. No. With the shits, there's levels to the with the shits. There's individuals that get rid of individuals. There's individuals who have a great mind. There's individuals who have connections. There's individuals that, they know how to maneuver through different groups of individuals to create balance, so to say. That's what with the shits is really supposed to be about. With the shits, the violence is the last resort to with the shits. In gangbanging, there are generals. There are higher ranks. In balance, they're going to seek the great mind. Those who have a great mind to find balance. If balance is not able to be found, then we get physically with the shits and start, getting rid of individuals. This is gang banging. I don't know what is going on in today's moment. No matter what goes on in gang banging, everybody should be led back to the foundation. Period. You can be with the shits and not shed no blood in real life. And that's what people don't understand. In gang banging, there's strategy, there's rules, there's regulations, there's rank. It's almost like, army-ish. The great minds, because it's plural, because it's not, stuck to one. The great minds are going to try to maneuver and think and strategize in ways that don't cause harm to either side. This is how you know when one cares. When that don't work, it gets to a level where there's, all right, I cared. There's no caring. So now we on the next level. This kind of got skipped. The great minds kind of got skipped. And I'm going to use example. People gangbang. They do some crazy shenanigans. They end up locked up. If you gangbanging, you're supposed to be banging for a cause, which means that you do not expect any individual to come save your ass because you was doing it for the cause. When you start expecting an individual to come save your ass, that means you was not doing it for the cause. you was doing it for some other shenanigans. And that's the problem with gangbanging. Pardon me, because I'm sitting on a sink in the bathroom. That's the problem. If you're doing it for the cause and you're not doing it with expectations that individuals are going to come and pull you out the situation. If you're gangbanging and you're doing it for the cause. If you're not doing it for the cause, then of course you're going to expect individuals to come save your ass. And that's the problem. And I'm saying that 2 times so that people can have a valid understanding of what's going on. And even in gangbanging, there's masculine and feminine energy involved. And I'm not making this shit up. Even in gangbanging, you know, you look at the left and the right, red and the blue. You know, this one and that one. Y'all have to understand that if you really banging, if there's real gang banging involved, and you took the drop, you took the loss, you were supposed to be taking it for a cause. Nothing else. For the cause. And this is the problem. And this is why in a previous video I talked about people banging for a cause. Because if you're banging for the cause and you took the low, then you still gonna be happy for the people that was banging for the same cause that's eating. This is where this gets mixy. And this is what proves that people are not banging for a cause, but they banging for recognition, title, so on and so forth. And that never works. Because if I'm banging and I'm gangbanging, I would be gangbanging for a cause. So if I took the drop or the low or the loss, I'm going to take that. I'm going to eat that because I did it for the cause. I'm not about to sit there and expect to be snatched out. I might hope to be snatched out, but I'm not going to expect to be snatched out. And even if I expect to be snatched out the situation, right? I'ma chill. And I'ma watch the homies or the bros or my members, and I'ma be happy that they ate. And I'ma feel like they ate because I took that loss. This is what people are not understanding in gang culture in general. Now, yes, I do read tarot cards, I throw bones and so on and so forth and all that good shit. But when you get down to the nitty gritty of the gang culture, people are not understanding how the gang culture is, how it's put together. And this is how you end up with imposters. This is how you end up with individuals that's only doing it because they want to prove to somebody. Gangbanging ain't got nothing to do with proving nothing to the next individual. If your ass know the history and you know the cause, then that's what it is. I don't understand. There's no proving. There's nothing to prove. It's the same cause. We are rocking for the same cause. The same cause is not each other. The same cause is back in history, how it got started and who infiltrated. That's the cause. So, you know, when there are men and females out here that do not respect others, that's banging, people have to understand that. And that's why when I was growing up, when you was banging, people asked you, what's your history? And you needed to know it. People asked you certain things to make sure that you had a full understanding of what your cause was. Because if you didn't know what your cause was, you He was out. And that happened whether you, no matter what gang you was in. Where I'm from, I don't know what's going on right now, but where I'm from, that's how it happened. Now I'm gonna tell y'all a story, and this is real facts. So, there was gang banging going on where I was at. People were doing wild, reckless shenanigans just to be a part of gang. Running up in subways, cutting old ladies, so on and so forth. This really was going down in the 5 boroughs. And so, shout out to California. It prompted people with rank from Cali to come into New York and bring some order. They was like, yo, what are y'all doing? To the point where they had to have people understand, like, hey, you're repping this set. This set does not have anything to do with this gang at all. Like, what are you doing? They literally were snatching flags and putting stuff in order. This is the West Coast migrating over to the East Coast to bring order, because there was recklessness going on in the area because people was gangbanging with no history. This really happened in real life. And so, because this happened in real life, in history, I'm sure that's going to happen once again. It's going to happen again. I'm not even making this up. It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen again. If not, it's happening again. People have to understand, there's 2 reasons why there would be migration. One, to make sure that who's ever in power, who's ever the big homie, who's ever the general, whomever, can kind of, move through all of these areas. But a real higher up in these gangs, or a real general in these gangs, not gonna let nothing move if y'all don't even know the purpose, if y'all don't even know the foundation, if y'all don't know the rules and regulations. And that's the problem. These energies, these gangs, their names are moving across the globe, and when they move across the globe, the people that's moving them, they know the history, they know the foundation. They're supposed to, I'm not going to say that they're supposed to know the history, they're supposed to know the foundation, they're supposed to have the knowledge, because when I was growing up, it was called knowledge, right? They're supposed to have these things in place before they even move that type of energy across the globe. Without it, it's going to create reckless behavior, and people are going to lose sight. Again, I'm not promoting gangbanging, and I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is simply know your history. Know thy history. Understand? Because if you get into it and you look at all these gangs, you separate and divide them, the foundation was technically supposed to be the same in real life. Example, Bloods and Crips. That's started in the West Coast. I'm going to tell you how it started. It started in the West Coast, right? It got so reckless that there was non-trade on the East Coast. The person that was supposed to found or be the founder of non-trade was locked up. Come to find out, he wasn't supposed to be doing it. As I'm told the story. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is how the story was told. This is how I learned it. Alright. This is what, Bloods, Crips, they all ended up on the news for doing wild, reckless shenanigans, which prompted the West Coast to send big homies over to the East Coast to rectify that. There was meetings, there was groups, there was set meetings. I mean, these are the things that took place in that time to create order, because, not being funny, but the West Coast was like, listen, first and foremost, y'all niggas banging and y'all don't even know what y'all banging about. That's one. Two, if you a trade set, then you not representing this group of individuals, you representing that group of individuals, and now we got to come over here and sort this shenanigans out. This is how it really went down. Like, I cannot make this up. This is how it really went down. And so, what happened? The 5 Boroughs of Harlem had a summer of West Coast niggas coming through, excuse my language, snatching flags and taking ranks from individuals because it was out of whack. This is how come non-trade right now does not, and as far as I have been told, does not exist. Because if you saying that you a blood, example, if you're saying that you a blood, then you cannot be a trade set, because trades belong to so-called crip sets, and so on and so forth. You see how this go? So it's always like this miscommunication and division and so on and so forth. And this is why it's important to learn history, because when the West Coast elders came into the East Coast, the first thing they was asking people was their history. What's your history? What's your rank? Who's your big homie? Those are the things that were asked. And if you did not have the answer, you was getting your flag snatched. It was just that simple. They didn't come over there just wild, reckless, shooting at people and killing people and individuals. They came over there to clarify and clean their name up, because it's like the niggas over here banging, and they banging, and it's not making no sense. They didn't even have people the same individual. It's the same thing in today's time. If you get into the rack, you get into Chicago, you get into, that area over there, and you bring it over here. How you beefing with this individual or this group of individuals and that don't even exist over there? So, people have to look at this type of stuff before they start jumping into it, claiming it, naming it, putting it in music, so on and so forth. They have to look into that type of stuff. And again, I'm not promoting it. And if I am, then it is, on a community togetherness type of protect your community kind of level. Like, all that the shenanigans, it doesn't make sense. If you come, to an individual that's not from a particular area and you ask them what's the history, they cannot tell you, so how could it be valid? They can't tell you who the founding fathers is. They can't tell you that. And those are the rules. Those have been the rules, and they probably gonna still be the rules when people remember the rules, and so on and so forth. Not disrespecting anybody that claim these things, but because you did this to this one, or you said this about this one, and you put this one in this music, or you defending this one, it don't make you solid. It don't make you valid, because you might have said and did and all of this other stuff, but you still don't know what the cause is. So what are you doing? And why are you doing it? And this is how people end up in crazy situations, and then end up aggravated and frustrated and mad at this one and that one, and this one didn't hold me down, and this one didn't do this, and this one didn't do that, and this one didn't. If you banging for the cause, then you're not even concerned about what this one didn't do, this one didn't do that, this one didn't come here, this one didn't send me that, this one didn't call me this one didn't send me a letter, this one. It doesn't matter, because you was banging genuinely for the cause, not about the support of another individual. And this is the problem. Because if you were doing this for the cause, then you're going to be happy for everybody else that's eating. Because you was doing it for the cause. You did it because you want everybody else to eat. You caught the L because you want everybody to eat. And that's the problem. Period. And I don't take no sides because this happens on all sides and all types of situations, all classes of individuals. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. FYI. Speaking of that, you know, when I was growing up, there were literally females that dealt with dudes who had rank just so they could get rank. No study of the history, the foundation, the founding fathers, none of that. Just so they can sit under whom's rank. That's not valid either. That's not valid either. And putting in work wasn't just about harming individuals. Putting in work was all kinds of things according to, you know, your mindset, whether, you know, you was educated, whether you was able to communicate with groups of individuals that they wasn't, all of that. But everybody had something to bring to the table that was slightly different, and nobody was antagonized or nobody was judged because of their differences. So, for instance, there was females out here that really put in more work than dudes put in work. Like literally females that put in work out here more than dudes put in work. They were solidified in their position. There was females out here that had connections that dudes and females, and they said, did not have. They were solidified in their position. There was people out here, you know, in these circles or in these gangs or in these clusters of individuals that understood law. And so, you know, their big homie said, that's what you do. There was people out here that was all in within their community, embedded in their community, and so they was able to give back to their community in that way. And so that's what they did. And so everybody's position was respected. Positions have gotten lost. And so everybody's trying to take off the next individual's head, the next man's head, the next female's head, and it means nothing, because if you are who you say you are and you're up there, then you're gonna identify, you know, you're gonna be able to identify with what each individual or each group of individuals is able to bring to the table, and that creates foundation and stability, and then re-solidifies the cause. And that's not happening. That's not happening the way it should happen. You know, when I was growing up, it was, you know, you had to, first off, you know, the blood thicker than water thing, that was standard. And most times you found out that the water was a little bit more solidified than the blood. But you displayed your purpose, and then that purpose was put into place. And that's not happening. So now everybody's knocking each other's head off. But what about everybody else? You're gonna say he's not with the shits because he went to school. Back in the day is no. You're with the shits because that's what you do out here. And he's with the shits because he went to school and graduated and can do this and that. And she's with the shits because this one did this, or this one has a job here and can do this and do that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all the same thing. It's like a hustler. Most people say, oh, that's a negative thing. But if you think about a hustler, there's customer service, there's money management, there's product management, there's, maintaining a stable clientele. All of that's in hustler. And home still got to get up at a particular time because you got clientele at a particular time, right? He still got to divvy up money. He still got to divvy up product. And I'm not promoting it. I'm just letting people think. All of that. You got to do customer service. You got to have good product. You got to get up at a particular time because your clientele gets up at a particular time. You still got to answer the goddamn phone. You still got to respond to text messages. You still got to do all of these things. It's just different levels to it. It's just different levels to it. Period. And that's what people have to understand. And this is why, no matter what I go through, no matter, where I'm at in life, I still respect the hustler because they acquire all of these qualities literally without knowing, without going to school, without having to pay tuition. They acquire all of these qualities that can then be transmuted into something else when they become, when they're able to realize it. Everybody has a position now. And it don't mean you have to be stuck in that position, because of course you can graduate to another position in the streets or in life. But people have to understand that. And most people do not. Period. So I'm going to see y'all later. That's part 2.